This is a first for the Pop Culture Show. We've never had this many people on in one broadcast. Don't even know if this is going to stay connected, but for now, please welcome, in order, Baylee Littrell, Brian Littrell, Leighanne Littrell. Welcome to the Pop Culture Show.
Yay!
What's up?
Wow.
Hey.
It's a party line.
Right? I kind of feel like when we were really little. Who's on?
This is unreal. I don't even know where we want to start. I mean, it's like you guys, Cubby and Brian, have a history that goes back with the Backstreet Boys for so long.
Yeah,
You know,
in fact,
just a couple years, right? Cubby?
Yeah, just a few years.
Just a few.
we've probably done over 30 interviews, and of course, this always comes up. You know, it was 20 years ago this week that we did that around the world trip for Black and Blue.
You know, I saw that on social media.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh my gosh, this was the 100 hours around the world. I was like, can you believe that? It's been that long?
20 years.
Brian, I can't think of anything worse than being stuck with Cubby for 100 hours on a private jet.
By the way, this was not just a private jet. This was a 767. There was plenty of room. And like Brian said, we went around the world in 100 hours, and it was something I will never, ever forget. It was just unbelievable.
Well, it was something that we kind of created. We came up with out of the blue, just because everybody was back then, you know, this is early 2000s. Everybody's talking about, breaking a record, selling, multi-million albums the first week. And so what we thought was we'd take our international reach, because a lot of people don't look at the international markets like BSB always has for years. You know, we're talking about almost 3 decades doing this, and I just can't believe we've been doing it that long. But so that's why we went from Stockholm to Tokyo, from Tokyo to Brisbane, Australia,
Sydney.
Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to Perth and refueled.
Yep.
And then we went to Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Wow. Cape Town.
Rio.
Cape Town.
Yeah, Cape Town. I'm sorry. We skipped Cape Town.
Look at this one. He knows everything. I love that.
But yeah, he was on the ball. And the cool thing about it is I didn't have to spend all my time with him the whole time because there's 5 of us. So he had to divvy up his time. So
I kind of feel sorry for you, Cubby. I only have to deal with one at a time.
Which Backstreet Boy, Cubby, has the worst fart?
Oh my God. I'm gonna go with AJ.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I would say Nick. I would say
Okay, Nick. Well, Nick was on a McDonald's kick back then too. Before he lost weight, he was eating McDonald's all the time. So you're right. He was
You're
up
talking
there.
about,
So
you're
Brian,
talking about singeing your nose hairs, like it would singe your nose hairs.
He does that on stage too, though.
Yeah.
Right.
you heard it here first. We're trying to find out when Cubby's taste for Jägermeister started. Did you experience any of that back then?
I'm going to go with AJ on that one.
Yes.
Poor AJ.
AJ and I did a drinking game where he would hold, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but he would hold 2 hands behind his back, and you had to pick a number between 1 and 10. And however many you were off, you would have to do that many shots.
Oh.
So if you said the number 5 and he was holding up 7, you were off by 2, you do 2 shots of a particular drink. But you knew he was always lying because you would say any number.
Of course he was. Of course,
any
he's
note,
lying.
right?
Right. He goes,
Yeah.
you're 8 off. You do 8 shots. You never knew.
That's so bad.
Did AJ make up that game?
Completely, 100%. But it was a good time, and I can't believe it's been 20 years. But now look what's happened since then. I mean, come on.
I know, we're on the same show with our son.
Yeah.
Baylee, you're killing it.
Well, you know what? I'm only 3 years old. They've tricked you.
And your birthday's coming
7.
up, right, Baylee?
Yes, it's in like less than 2 weeks. It's crazy.
Wow, you're
It's
going to
actually
be 18.
on Thanksgiving this
18.
year.
Yeah.
So Barnes and Cubby, I got introduced to the whole family. We brought in Brian and Backstreet Boys to the CMT family. They did a Crossroads. They did the CMT Music Awards. And then Baylee came in with just some incredible music. I mean, he's a great songwriter, and we were able to play a video from him. So we're full on in the Baylee Littrell business, big time.
Yeah.
Let me play a clip for those that don't know Baylee yet. Here's just a quick clip of one of his songs.
You check all my boxes when it's 22, you got it. Going down my list, it's obvious you're what I wanted. Take me out the game, check please. Like baby, you were made for me.
You've got talent, bro.
Wow.
Thank you,
Seriously.
man.
So good.
Thank you so much.
We did actually 2 versions of that song.
We did.
There's
Yeah, that one's a more pop song. The pop
Yeah.
version. Yeah. So we did a little bit of reworking and did it more of a country version.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
615.
Yeah.
615 version.
Are
So
you
we
guys
like it-
recording at home, or do you have a studio at home?
615.
Yes.
We do. I was actually in the studio yesterday, and I've got a session this afternoon.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
With Baylee or with someone else?
With himself.
So Baylee,
no, this is a BSB session. It's a BSB.
Oh, it's a BSB session. You have some new music coming out soon?
Possibly.
Okay.
It's a little secret, but you hear it first right here.
Very cool.
You heard nothing. Literally.
Now, Baylee, growing up, your dad being a big pop star, I mean, did you think you were going to go down the pop music lane, or would you consider yourself a country guy? I mean, do you have a kind of a designation yet?
You know what? I honestly thought that I would go the pop route if I did music. That's just kind of how it always seemed like it was going to go. You do music, you do what dad does, you do pop. And as kind of time went on and it got to the point where I could start my own career, I had a conversation with mom and dad and I said, guys, I really want to try country. It's where my roots are. And growing up in Georgia, that's what I heard constantly from my grandparents, from my family. And so it just felt at home. And so I told him, I said, I don't think I can do that. I don't think there's a market. And dad said, well, why not? There you go. Me and mom and dad looked at each other. We're like, you know what? Let's try it. What do we have to lose? So, country music has been seriously phenomenal. And Leslie, you've been amazing to me through this entire process. I couldn't ask for a better team of people. And just, country music's been so welcoming. They really have.
You seem like such a down-to-earth family and just such a cool unit, like you hear so many bad stories in Hollywood about the families and the drugs and the problems and the screaming. And you guys just seem so normal. But I have to point out, Brian, I went on your Instagram and I was looking around. I have to ask, Baylee, what do you think when dad posts a really close-up picture of your mom's butt on Instagram?
He's thinking COVID hasn't been good to my mom.
Stop it.
What do you think?
I just kind of watch from the sidelines and
That was a too much drink day. I don't
Nah, he was
Day drinking.
Like,
Hashtag day drinking.
But
Barnes, mom's backside. Yeah, I like to get a rise. I like to get a rise off of
No
people
pun
sometimes.
intended.
Literally.
No pun intended.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Damn.
That was a good one.
Well, Baylee, where are you right now? Are you guys are you in the same house, but just make it look like you're in a different area right now? Who's where?
No, man, I'm in my own studio apartment somewhere. Well, we're probably like 50 steps from each other right now. Yeah, we're in different wings of the house. It's a compound.
Oh, gotcha.
It's more than 50 steps.
Yeah, so he's
Is it
in a
more than
room
50
that.
steps?
Yeah, Baylee actually graduated early this year, so he literally has a room in the house as his schoolroom. So I know you don't want me to say that, but you're graduated now. And then we're all the way over in the studio. Yeah. So,
well, Barnes,
the West Wing.
It's exactly what you said. What you see is what you get. They are all down to earth. It's like a family affair. But Baylee, I do have to ask you, have these words ever come out of your dad's mouth? Back when I was your age.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I've heard it so much. And you know what? The best thing about it is it's usually just complete words of wisdom. Rarely is it, just something random. But Dad, don't get crying yet. I haven't even started. It's crazy to kind of be now at this point where me and Dad can really relate so much when it comes to music. And he started when he was my age, and for him, he didn't really, he didn't know what was going to happen. He just went out on a limb and he did it. And now to kind of be in the same position, it's crazy. I really never thought 100% that this would be exactly what I was going to do. And so to follow in his footsteps, I just want to make him proud.
Baylee, who do you look up to as far as, besides your dad, as far as in the singing world, who really kind of grabbed you?
Oh, man. John Mayer is a huge huge grab right there. I mean, John Mayer has been an inspiration for a long time, from songwriting to playing guitar. Wow, no one's going to get that good. But
and another ATLer. I mean, he was kicking the 404 for a minute, and one of the best guitarists out there.
Oh
yes. Yeah. So good. That's why Baylee wanted to learn guitar.
Have you met him?
I haven't met him.
Well, we have a surprise, Baylee. We have a surprise for you.
John, come on.
Come on in, John.
Come on in, John.
John won't come on our show for some reason. We've tried. He will not. Yeah, he won't return any of our calls. Leslie, start beating him up.
Yeah, Leslie, you can do it.
I think we need to make this happen.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Hey, Brian, back in the Backstreet days when all this craziness was happening in your world, and now you're settled with a family as we've gone through, but I want to hear like a crazy ass story, a fan story. Like, what's something that sticks out as like psycho freak show?
How much time do you have?
You married her, didn't you?
Good one, Kevin.
Tell me on that, man. If we weren't on the internet, I'd knock you out.
If I had a hand, I'd go like this.
There's all kinds. I'll just like bullet points. We had a stowaway on our bus. She rode about probably 200 miles. She was just in the back in the dark. One of our managers reached for his bag behind his bunk, and he found this leg, and it was like, oh my God. So it was in Germany. So we had to get her off of the bus and then literally pay for like the taxi at the time to get her back home. That was one instance. We were in Brussels, Belgium one time, and we had two girls waiting in the dressing room for us when we got to the gig. And they were just sitting on the sofa, and their jeans were all ripped, and they had like blood on their legs. And we were like, are you guys okay? And they were like, yeah, we're fine. So we didn't think anything of it.
Just blood rips.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they were just sitting in our dressing room. It kind of took us off guard. So we were like, well, we got to get showered and ready for the show. And they were like, okay. And so I went and got security. I'm like, hey guys, there's two girls in our dressing room. And so come to find out, they had jumped the fence. They had ripped their pants. They had bloodied themselves, and they were sitting in the dressing room just chilling, and they were trying not to overreact. So those are just two instances, and I've got, we don't have a long enough show, I think.
I told someone yesterday, they were asking, hey, who's on the pop culture show this week? I said, the Littrell family is going to be on. And someone said, oh my God, when I was, I knew someone, like they knew someone who went city to city following the Backstreet bus. And that made me think, man, the psychos these guys must have dealt with for just every location.
It's a whole other episode.
Yeah. And this was all before social media, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this was like, the instant camera days, and then the digital camera world came out. It was like, oh my gosh, we can go through and edit our pictures.
Imagine if they had selfies then.
Wow. I remember Brian had the big brick phone. He was like, yo, man, I'm going to do a call into the radio station right now.
Hello.
Hey, Baylee, what do you think about the old footage you see of your dad, like in the 90s and early 2000s? Do you like laugh at it, or does it? I mean, what's your take?
I love it. I seriously soak it all up. Like from videos of him, like literally the guys what would you do, Dad? You'd rehearse with the boys when you'd play. You went from high schools to like, you play in high school gymnasiums to small places, and you guys would rehearse in the shower. You guys would all pack in a small shower and start singing. And so there's all these clips of you guys like at my age, like singing in the shower. Like, I love that. Like anything, I mean, it's it's a long time ago now, very historical.
Wait, but don't you think that sometimes when we look at pictures of Dad young, we have to figure out if it's you or Dad?
Sometimes we're finally
you guys
to that
look,
point.
I mean, you look exactly this. It's crazy how close they look.
Yeah, you could be brothers.
We could be.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take that. There's no denying it, right, baby?
Bayley, did you ever get nervous on stage? I mean, you grew up around this and you're such a natural performer, but like the first time and being in front of thousands of people, like what did that feel like?
Wow. You know what? The first time I ever went on stage, I mean, it started when I was super, super young. So like 2005, 2006, I would go up and like introduce the boys. I had no care in the world. I was like, yeah, this is normal. And as time kept going on, like I would sing a couple songs or something and it seemed normal. But then when I was the opening act for you guys last year on tour, it finally, just set in like what was going on. I mean, we're walking through Capitol Arena and you've got security walking you to the stage and you just hear just off in the distance and your whole band's looking at you like, man, we've never played something this big before.
You're like, me either, man.
Well, you're lucky that they don't reject you. You know what I mean? Like, it could have backfired.
Sure.
It could have been like, oh, they're just bringing their kid out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're
Yeah.
good. So they love it.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the number one concern I think you have when you go out there. You're like, nobody has to like me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want this to seem forced at all. I just want them to listen if they want to. So when you go out there, you don't want them to be like, this kid sucks. But you're just hoping for a little love. I mean, Orlando was huge when the boys went to Orlando on tour. I mean, where they started. I mean, the fans were crazy. But when I got up there, it was insane too. I was like,
Yay, they love me.
yeah, I mean, the standing ovations and people screaming, I was like, holy crap, this is insane. Like,
Now, do mom and dad critique your show?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, we do. I was about to say, the cool thing about watching Baylee on that tour particularly is we did, I think we did 40, 44, 45 shows across North America, including Canada. Mm-hmm. And to watch him do that first show, versus the last show, like he was just a different monster. Like he was so comfortable and, and at the end of the day, he knows if he really sucked, like he wouldn't be out there doing it. Like if he didn't really have a passion and want to do this is not an easy business, growing up in it. He knows that. And so he took that on when he signed up for it. And it's tough. It's not easy, but for him to do that first show versus the last one, and then now to go on and do his own solo shows and selling out Eddie's Attic in Atlanta. He's going to be at the Buckhead Theater December 12th. Mm-hmm. There's only like 20 tickets left out of that. We're all social distancing and it's all good. But to watch him now, he's so talented. He's so far more talented than I ever was at that age. And I have nothing but kudos for him because he's commanding, and not even at 18, he'll be 18 in 2 weeks, but he just has the audience, on a limb. And I'm just proud to be his dad. That's
You
all
can't
I'm
tell.
saying.
Yeah.
How can people get those 20 tickets that are left? How can people get them?
Well, basically, I think all the tables are gone, but they're Buckhead Theater through
top.
Live Nation.
Got
Yeah,
it.
so you could either go to Buckhead Theater's website or Live Nation,
Got it.
or Bailey's. Actually, can go
Well, Brian and Baylee, I do have a question. At the end of the day, let's face it, Leighanne runs the show,
Yes.
right?
Your mama.
she does.
Definitely Mama runs the show.
So yeah, when I what I'll say is like he's such a good kid. I mean, this one's.
I'm a good kid too.
I've got two great kids. No, I'm just kidding. He's such a good kid. He's easy. Like he's grown, and like if I give him critique before, he would be like, "Whatever, I don't do that." And now he's like really like this COVID time, he's really grown into his own, and he's a lot easier to work with. But we've been stuck together for your whole life, and it only gets better.
Now,
Why is there no reality show yet with you guys? It seems like an obvious.
We
thing.
thought about it, but they kept trying to invent things instead of just let it go. And we were like, even last night, we were at Ponko Chicken seeing the Rat Pack dancing with, what was it? Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, you can't make this crap up, y'all. I mean,
you don't have to write it. Yeah, you don't have to write it with us. It just happens. And it just got, we got pitched a couple ideas years ago, and it was just a little
it's
too
wonky.
hokey.
Yeah.
It's too hokey.
If we could do it like a docuseries and produce our own, I think we would totally be into that.
Especially with what with what the journey of Baylee, what he's going through, and having a team so close to the business like mom and dad, but mom being manager, and it's a close knit. Leslie's right. What you see is what you get.
The journey of Baylee. That could be an album title right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, man.
Funny.
Well, thank you all. We really appreciate you coming on. This has been incredible that the internet has stayed on the whole time.
I know you say that and we all close.
Right, exactly.
You guys should do the docu-series. I think it would be fascinating.
Really, totally should.
You guys are great people, and
Really?
we're such fans, and you guys are the kind of people we root for because you're just like Steve said earlier, you're down to earth, just great people, and Baylee, you're pure talent, and I can tell you're going to go
Absolutely.
far.
Thank you.
Baylee,
so
best
much,
of
man.
luck to you. Thank you for coming on. And also, Brian and Leighanne, thank you both.
Hopefully we
Thank
can
you,
see you
guys.
in person next time. Thank you guys.
Oh, I would love
Absolutely.
it.
Let's
Thanks
do
so
it.
much for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you,
That's it.
Leslie.
The Pop
Thank you. Good
Culture
to see
Show
you.
is done. We will see you next week.
We out. We out.
And the show after the show.
You guys are great.
Yeah, that was
Seriously.
great.
Thanks.